We absolutely salute our listeners in Kansas City, and we warn them. The locusts are coming. No, not like last summer, not the 17-year locusts. The warning that we have for what's going to happen next summer when the World Cup is here. Wow, do we have a whopper from our friends at KC 2026. I can't wait to share that with you. We'll get onto that in just a couple of moments. We've got some tasty items on the broadcast today, including one of those that I love to talk about, and that is changing names of mascots of sports teams away from honoring Native Americans like the Chiefs to something else, because in Long Island, they changed the name to something that is completely harmless. And the NAACP locally does not like it. They think it is white supremacy. We'll get into that. They went away from the Native American by law. It's against the law in the state of New York now for a school to have a mascot that refers to anything Native American, which seems kind of like a racist law to me. We'll get into that a little bit later on. Oh, Mark has a tasty story. Tasty story from high school baseball in New Mexico, where there was something flavorful inside the igloo cooler in the dugout. Oh, you're going to have to stick around for that one. It's all ahead today, but we tip our cap to start the show today to our friend Tony at Tony'sKansasCity.com, where I saw this story this morning from Lindsay Douglas, the Chief Operating Officer of KC 2026. This is the World Cup soccer outfit that is bringing the World Cup to Kansas City, and we're happy to have the World Cup coming. Anything that's good for Kansas City is great. I think we're going to lose money. I think we're going to get ripped off. I think it's going to cost a lot more than we thought, and I think FIFA's a bunch of thieves. Not that I have an opinion or anything on the World Cup, but having it here is going to be fun for a lot of people. It's going to be great. It'll be spirited for about 3 weeks. We are scheduled to have 6 matches in the World Cup, which is 2 more than Kansas City thought they would get. That's a win. It's not that nothing good has happened here, but the Chiefs have been fighting with the committee over millions of dollars in Arrowhead remodeling that's taking place right now. If you didn't know this, Arrowhead's being destroyed at the lower level right now with the bowl coming out, or rows of the bowl coming out, so they can play soccer there in the summer of 26. There will be actually fewer people at Chiefs games this year. So the Chiefs are losing some revenue during the football season. I don't know how the balance sheet works on any of this stuff. All right, none of it really makes sense to me. You pay money to get these matches. Your city theoretically gets exposure around the world, but I constantly ask people, where was the last World Cup and which cities in that country were they played in? And nobody can remember. Nobody knows. And if they are lucky enough to remember the country, they certainly can't name the city. So I don't really know how this is boosting us on the world stage, which is what, first of all, Lindsay Douglas, if you're the COO of KC 2026, I assume that you're really smart, that the people here are the elites of Kansas City are on this. This is the one, there's like 30 board members on this thing, right? And they're all the richest, fanciest, wealthiest, typically, it's soccer, most liberal people in our community. And they love one world. They love one globe, one planet, one world, one people, all this stuff. They love it. That's why they want the World Cup here. And that's great. Again, for 3 weeks or whatever, it's going to be fun to have the World Cup in Kansas City. I'm not disputing that. It's going to be great for our quality of life. And I like sports, so I'm not against any of this. Just beware. It will get passed along to us through taxes. Somehow, some way, we will pay for this. They won't. The elites in our community will not pay for this. We will. Lindsay, if you're going to be the spokesperson, could you please stop using the stupid line like we're in the 3rd grade that Kansas City's going to be on the world stage? Only the people who live in a country where their team is playing here will know they're in Kansas City. Nobody around the world is going to know or care which city in America they're playing in, nor will they care if it's in Canada or Mexico. They just care about their team. They're not coming here. They're not. If we get the Romanian soccer team, they're not going to say, well, you know what, we should go vacation in Kansas City. It's not happening. They may come for the World Cup, but the whopper of this story from Tony's Kansas City, which is partially from something that was at KCUR, is that Lindsay Douglas is saying 650,000 people will swarm in from all over the world for these matches in June of 2026. It's 3+ weeks, basically. Our first match here is after the World Cup starts, and our last one is before it ends. So we're squeezed in the middle. And I'm good with having 6 matches. That's outstanding. That's a win for Kansas City. I'll take the under on 650,000 visitors to Kansas City from around the world for every penny I've ever made my entire life. Don't lie to me. KCI, in a typical June, which is the highest travel month because of vacations, kids are out of school, all that stuff. This is us. This is Kansas Cityans. KCI handles 500,000 flyers. You're telling me it's going to more than double. We're going to take KCI from 500,000 passengers to nearly 1.2 million passengers in June? Or are you talking about people, weekenders from Omaha and Des Moines driving in to stay downtown and go to the Power and Light and have a couple of beers and do whatever? The math doesn't add up. There's 6 matches. Let's give them the benefit of the doubt and say there are 50,000 tickets available to the public, which there are not. The elites will gobble up at least 10,000. More than that, FIFA will gobble up tickets. Corporations, the richest people in Kansas City, their companies that are all on board on this thing, the grift that they're in, because again, they're all going to make money. They're all buying up tickets and getting tickets. They'll get all the good stuff first. Whatever's left to the public is left to the public. Let's say that's 50,000, and I think that's high. I don't think there's going to be 50,000 tickets available. How many are coming from Kansas City fans? A third? It's probably more like half. 25. So 25,000 a match for 6 matches could go to World Cup visitors to come see their team. I think that's a high number. I do. I think there's probably going to be a team here that there's a lot of Americans and maybe some in the Kansas City area that are able to go. And they may get a team that's an incredible draw. But again, you're maxed out at the number of tickets that you can sell. So we're looking at maybe 150,000 tickets for sale here for people to travel from around the world to come here. Maybe 150,000. And they're saying 650,000 people are coming. We better get ICE, the FBI, the Border Patrol. We better get everybody in Kansas City next summer. We might need the National Guard. We don't have 650,000 people in Kansas City. What are we going to do? We're going to all need to take vacation. If you're not going to a match, leave Kansas City for 3 weeks. Run, go. If 650,000 people are coming into this city, what the hell is going to happen to Kansas City? We're not a tourist destination. We can't handle those numbers. We cannot handle those people. This is an impossibility in this community. But because they've done it, this is what desperate people do. They overinflate the success something it will be to sell it because we're all about to see how the sausage was made and how much money we're going to lose and how the Chiefs are mad at the committee because they're owed $11 million or whatever the number was Pete Mundo reported a couple weeks ago to tear up the stadium. Chiefs hadn't got their funding for that yet, so they didn't start tearing up their stadium. Chiefs aren't going to dig any dirt until they have your money anywhere. A new stadium, World Cup, anything. They're not going to do anything on their own. If they're promised something by the government or KC 2026, they're not getting a shovel out until they have their cash in the bank. That's how sports works. It is always a loser for government. It's always a loser for taxpayers, period. And we really didn't need the World Cup. I'm cool with it being here if everybody just knows we're getting ripped off. And don't lie to me and tell me 650,000 people from around the world are coming in a 3-week period and we're going to be on the world stage. And Kansas City is going to rise up in the world stage. And all of a sudden, we're going to be this play. The Kansas City Chiefs winning Super Bowls has gained far more attention for this city than the World Cup will ever do. The World Cup has no chance of. You know how many countries will never, and they love soccer. These are soccer-loving countries. Will never even watch a match or know there's a match taking place in Kansas City. That their team's in Edmonton or LA or Mexico City or somewhere else. They won't even know there's matches in Kansas City. It doesn't say on the pitch where they are. When I watched the World Cup last time, I'm like, well, where are they today? Well, it didn't matter. You never know. They never say it doesn't matter. Maybe at the very beginning, the announcers say, hey, we're at Arrowhead, and that's it. You don't know where these things are unless you know the stadium and it's iconic. And guess what? For soccer fans around the world, Arrowhead's not iconic. They may know the stadium in LA because it's an architectural marvel. There may be a couple places where they know and recognize and know what it is. That's not really what this is about. This is about what, for Kansas City, what this was about. See, FIFA wanted to be in the biggest markets. The finals will be in New York. They wanted LA. Dallas is a great soccer community. That is involving the Hunt family as well. The Hunt family loves soccer. Clark Hunt played soccer. His son played soccer, Noble, at SMU. Soccer's there. They probably, push came to shove, love soccer more than football because they played it. They love it. Clark owns some interest in soccer clubs and always has. They love it. So great. You get your pet project. It's fun for Kansas City as long as we're not being lied to or ripped off. That's all I'm going to hold you account to between now and 2026. Don't talk to me about Kansas City rising up on the world stage. That is so old, Kansas City. We're in the post-Chiefs Super Bowl era in this town. We're kicking ass in this community in so many ways. We've got to stop living our lives with this chip on our shoulder like we're some sort of inferior thing that needs to be propped up. Take pride in this, Kansas City. The entire country hates us. They hate us because of the Chiefs. They hate the Chiefs. They hate Mahomes. They hate Andy. They hate Casey Rat or Wolf or whatever that thing is running around on the field. They hate it all. They hate Arrowhead. They hate the announcers. They hate the referees because of the Chiefs. America is incredibly famous because of the Chiefs, and they hate us, and there's no bigger compliment. We've got to stop playing this little pity party thing. Oh, this is a flyover town. We need to rise up on the world stage with soccer. No. If you want to brag that this is great for our quality of life, it's going to be fun. People who love soccer, this is a dream come true. It's their mecca. It's their day. It's everything to some people. Then let's celebrate that and say it's cool that we have this. And we know it's costly, but doggone it, we're big time now. We can do this. And we're better for it. And living here, we're better for it. It's going to be fun. It's going to be an unbelievable experience. Let's just go with that. Let's not go with we're about to become Las Vegas, some tourist destination for people in Brazil. They ain't coming. If their soccer team isn't here, nobody from Brazil is going to be here. Nobody. They're not coming, and they won't even know that there's matches here, to be honest. Just stop. Just stop with the rising up on the world stage. Stop with the lying. Be honest with us about how much money this is costing us. And when it comes out of government coffers, which is actually our money, let us know. Just be honest. That's all we care about.
It's like bragging rights over St. Louis.
Exactly right. You know what? We just don't. That used to be a thing with me. I played this terrible thing when I was younger. I had this St. Louis envy and was all over. We're so much better than St. Louis. I don't even think about them anymore. It's a joke, isn't it? You agree with me, don't you?
Yeah.
I mean, why would we punch down to St. Louis?
Yeah.
They can't keep an NFL team. They've lost 2 of them. I mean, if you can't keep an NFL team, done. You're just out. Plus, their envy is with Chicago. They should have their own little Illinois battle over there and leave us alone. It's all good, man. We're Kansas City, and we are really kicking butt. And we don't need to rise up on the world stage. We don't need to be Paris or New York or any of these cities. We just don't need to be that. We are who we are. We love who we are. We love our traditions. We love our culture. Let's be us. And for 3 weeks next summer, let's enjoy the World Cup being here. It'll be an experience none of us have ever had. There will be people here from all over the world, and it's going to be cool. It's just not going to be 650,000 of them. If there are 650,000 of them, I'm going on vacation. I'm out. I don't want to be here. That's too many people. We can't handle those folks. 913-408-7957. That's 408-7957. This is Uncanceled on KCMO Talk Radio.
Whether you're a Jayhawk, Wildcat, Tiger, or KC Roo, we won't cancel you. Kevin Kietzman Uncanceled on KCMO Talk Radio 95.7 FM.
Dave Ramsey is coming to Kansas City with Dr. John Deloney for his Money and Marriage Tour May 9th, and you can win a meet and greet with Dave and John and tickets to the show. Listen at 10:45 as we give those away today, and Monday in the morning, tomorrow morning at 7:45 as he gives tickets away. It's Dave Ramsey and Dr. John Maloney, Friday, May 9th at the Music Hall. Because if it's happening at KCMO, it's on KCMO. Let's go to the phones. Folks want to talk about this World Cup next summer. 650,000 people will be here to do what when we have about 25,000 tickets to sell them? Okay, here's Stephen in KC. Good morning, Stephen. You're on Uncanceled. How are you?
Kevin, I enjoyed this soccer rant. I enjoyed it. Listen, if they want to call us the Paris of the Plains, I'm okay. I'm okay with that. But, I was undercover in the belly of the beast at the KU basketball games, and all these liberals were telling me we were going to get 20,000 people at Rock Chalk Park to cover the base camp, not to go to the games, but here's what they're doing. They're playing a shell game here. If we get the base camp for Brazil and Germany and England, and we put them at Rock Chalk and Swope and over at the Legends, they may get 500,000 people, but most likely that they're not going to be in the same group stage, and we're not going to have 500,000 people at KCI.
Why would you come? Here's my question. Why would you come from Germany or Brazil, even if your team was here, if you couldn't get in and have a ticket? You're just going to come here?
Well, I think it's the soccer hooligan equation. I don't think they're coming for a family vacation.
I don't think we want hooligans, which is why I said we're going to need ICE and the FBI to be around.
They're coming to get down in Chinatown. They're not in Westport. Yeah. They're not coming for tourism business. They're coming for other business. So I mean, you just have to know these things are, most of these are swindles. You just gotta kind of roll. It's a government swindle, and let's hope the USA does well. That's the only thing I'm rooting for.
That's awesome, Stephen. Thank you. And I've only made one promise. I can promise you the Kansas City Chiefs will not lose money. That's it. That's my only promise. They're the only entity that is guaranteed to not lose a dime. I can promise you the Chiefs will not lose a dollar. No how, no way. They won't. They won't. They're smarter than that. And they've got this entire city under their thumb at this point. Maybe they've earned it. All these people are critical of Elon Musk and Donald Trump, saying, "Oh, you billionaires are, you're putting the little people down." You want to talk about somebody who really has their thumb on the scales somewhere in America? It's the Kansas City Chiefs in Kansas City. They're running this town. Anything they want, they get. Steve is in Kansas City. Hi, Steven. How are you?
Good morning.
Hey.
I'm doing great. Hey, I'm a chauffeur driver. I'm in the business of driving, and I worked. I hauled at Uruguay. Did a little work with the Copa. Came in last year, and I found out that football fans, what we call soccer, but the rest of the world calls football, those fans are nuts. They're crazy.
Of course. They're fanatics. Yes, and that's not always a bad thing as long as they're not hurting somebody else. It's great. The passion that they have for their sport is admirable. It's a wonderful thing.
Yeah, and I was surprised at how many people were standing outside of their hotel when Peru won and when Uruguay won.
Yeah.
There was a couple hundred people, and that's just the minor league soccer
Well,
team,
sort of. It's Copa America. Yes, you're right, but that's a couple hundred. I cannot figure out how they're talking 650,000. If that is the case, okay, if I'm wrong, and it is 650,000, I'm not kidding. We need to leave. My wife just sent me a text, said, we're out of here. She wants to go to Colorado, Montana next summer for like 2.5 weeks while this is happening. I said, if I can get the radio station equipment, do the show, everything's good, we'll hit the road, I'm fine. Because if 650,000 people are coming in that are not going to the games, you know what's going to happen to crime in this town? Do you know what's going to happen?
Oh, it's going to be nuts.
Sanitation. Just think of the traffic, sanitation, and crime alone. It's going to be the worst 3 weeks in Kansas City history. We can't handle 650,000 people in this town. We can't. Can't be done.
Not even 500,000, but
not even 200,000. We can't. I'd love to think that we are. Thank you, Steve, for the call. That's awesome. We appreciate the work that you do. And you're going to make a lot of money. I'm not saying people aren't coming. People are coming. That's just an inflated number.
We saw what happened with the parade. People abandoned their cars on the street.
Yes. And how many were at the parade? What'd they say were at the parade? Do we know?
Probably 500,000.
The Chiefs parade? I don't think so.
No, the Royals' first parade.
First Royals parade, 500,000?
I think it was half.
I'll have to look at the crowd estimates. It was those are people that live here, and it was a crap show. But I don't see how. You said they're talking about as far away as Des Moines, needing to get hotel rooms. If that many people come, if 650,000 people are coming, they may have to stay in Des Moines.
It's true.
And then what? They're going to drive down here for the match. How many? What's the power and light hold? 15,000.
They're going to be turning people away.
Right. Where's everybody going to go? I mean, Johnny's seat's about 300 down there. 650,000 can't be done. This is Uncanceled on KCMO Talk Radio.
Kevin Kietzman Uncanceled. 10 to 11 a.m. on 95.7 FM, KCMO Talk Radio.
Oh, it's great to be with you today. Thanks for joining us. Really appreciate you being here. You know, we like to have a little fun with the show when we can. We do enough heavy subjects here that from time to time it's okay to have a little fun. And if we can have a little fun at the expense of an elitist that says 650,000 people are coming and we're going to be on the world stage and rise up, we will do that. We just like to call these folks out. It's what we do. I'm a funny little man that doesn't really like hanging out at places where there's black ties and jackets and champagne and things like that. I got invited to a million of those things through the years and didn't go. And eventually people are like, well, he's really not. No, no, thank you. No, thank you. Appreciate the invite. No, not my thing. And you're not going to influence me. I'm going to say what I think. And we're just having a little fun with the World Cup. It is going to be great. If we live here and for the city, there's going to be a lot of great things to it. Truly, there will be great things. I am not completely and utterly opposed to this thing. I just want transparency like everything else. Like our government for decades has just been stealing from us and lying to us. That's what I hate. That's what I hate. I can't stand that. Just tell us the truth about all of it, and everything is good. This week, a woman named Christine Grady at the National Institute of Health was terminated as part of the layoffs. She's a bioethicist. Now, that ought to tell you right there how many positions we have in our government. A bioethicist is a person who works in ethics in the research that we are involved with and funding worldwide. So, for example, when we kill beagle puppies and use them for research instead of mice, you would think a bioethicist would step up and say, hey, we're killing thousands of beagle puppies every year and we strap them down in these chambers and we cut out their vocal cords so they can't whine and howl. And then we put fleas and mosquitoes and ticks and things all over them. And then when they're 6 months old, we just kill them. That would be something you would think a bioethicist for the government would let the public know, or the government know and say, maybe we should stop killing these beagles because they're the most docile dog there is. That's why they used them. They won't bite you. So we can strap them down and do all these mean things to them and then just kill them. You would think a bioethicist would be involved in that. You would think a bioethicist would step up and say, you know what, there's some shady things going on in a Wuhan lab. We got some weird things going on over there. It looks like it's lab made. Looks like a virus. It's a gain of function thing going on in Wuhan. We might want to look into this. We're funding it. We got an ethics responsibility. Her name was Christine Grady. She was fired on Tuesday. Christine Grady is married to Anthony Fauci. You can't make that up. I didn't know. Anthony Fauci's wife, Christine Grady, was the ethics advisor at NIH. She was terminated for a major conflict of interest. Source said she's a good person, but what a major conflict of interest with her husband. Now, he's not there anymore. They're going to be just fine. But as our bioethicist, she literally enabled the government to cover this stuff up and keep it from us, out of the public eye. The bioethicist is more like a gatekeeper in this case. We don't want the public to know what we're doing because we're smarter than them, and we need to do this. This is very important research we're doing here, killing beagles and working in Wuhan, because we're not allowed to do what we're doing in China. What we're funding in China, we're not allowed to do in the United States, so we'll outsource it to China. Like if the virus breaks out there, it's not coming here. These aren't really smart scientists, are they? But literally the job is ethics in research. And I just gave you 2 cases of things that drive me absolutely crazy. And I would say this about Donald Trump. All that I love about Donald Trump, he made mistakes with Fauci and the scarf lady, immediately trusting them because of all their years of service. But it was not something, as president, he was prepared for. It was out of his lane for sure. And he's like, I'm running for re-election. I'll trust these people. Let these people speak every day. It's these people. All Trump needed to do was meet or look at a photo of Christine Grady, Fauci's wife, and he would have known to not trust Fauci. If you want to profile someone, if you want to profile a classic liberal white woman, crazoid, out of her mind, I can look at a picture of Christine Grady and say, there it is. There it is. Trump didn't do that. I'm not going to hold it against him. Still love me some Trump. I just think it's Unbelievable that she was still working with the government after all this. And Fauci is gone. Eric Adams, the mayor of New York, is running as an independent for re-election as mayor. Democrats a tarnished brand. He's going to appeal to the, 25, 30% of people in New York that are Republicans and say, I'm an independent, come vote for me because your Republican's not going to win. Vote for me, cobble together part of the Democrat Party that isn't crazy, and he thinks there's a lane for him to win as an independent. It's his only chance. He held up a book at a rally and said, this is why they came after me. The Biden administration, targeted Eric Adams because he wasn't supporting what they wanted to do with the illegal aliens. And he wanted to get rid of them, and he wanted funding, and he fought them on this. And the Biden administration people, not Biden himself, he probably didn't even know it happened. The Biden administration came after Adams, and they charged him with crimes that they've been dismissed, and it's over, and it's done. And he held up a book, said, you want to know why they came after me? Read this book. The name of the book is called Government Gangsters. It's authored by Kash Patel. Eric Adams. Do you see how things are changing? Just awesome. Chuck Schumer in 2018 on Trump implementing China tariffs said, you know what? I'm more with Trump than I am with Bush and Obama on this. China needs to know we're serious. We need to tariff the living daylights out of them. Chuck Schumer. Today, not so much. What changed? What could have changed between 2018 and now with Chuck Schumer and so many people on the left that thought we need to be tougher with China and they're ripping us off and they charge us tariffs and we don't charge them? Look, this is a short-term pain. The markets suck today. The Dow is down. You've got a 401k. You've got retirement. It stinks. Don't panic. Don't sell. Don't. It's what the professional investors want you to do. They're sort of like sports gamblers. This is just my opinion. It's not my expertise in a field, but it's my life experience I will share with you. I've been around a lot of sports gamblers. I have a very good friend who was friends with a man named Billy Walters, who wound up serving a little time in federal prison for running sort of a scheme of collecting money from investors out of state, collecting their money and then betting on their behalf, which was illegal. But what he was the greatest sports gambler of all time. He lived in Las Vegas. Before Mark could go on his app and put a wager in, if the Chiefs are a 3-point favorite against the Broncos, you can pay extra and move the line down to 2.5. There was a time you couldn't move the line. Billy Walters was the only person doing this. If he liked the Chiefs -3 against Denver, he didn't bet the Chiefs -3 against Denver because so many times those things land on that number. He would bet $1 million on the Broncos. The line would go down to 2.5. Then he would bet $2 million on the Chiefs. And if it hits -3, he wins big. He wins both. And you can't, if he loses the bet, if Denver does its thing, whatever, if he loses, he only lost half as much on the Chiefs as he would have. So he manipulated the lines. I believe that's what the pros on Wall Street do. I think what they loved, and they did this during COVID, the Dow went down to 18,000. Does everyone remember that? Dow's at 41,000 today, and we're all freaked out. That thing was 18,000 just 5 years ago. All right, so it's more than doubled. If you've been invested, you're doing okay. Don't panic. What they do is they're like Democrats. Never let a crisis go to waste. And the second that chart came out yesterday, Wall Street ganged up and they decided sell, sell, sell. Down goes the price. Now they're hoping you and I, over the next few days, will see that they sold and call our advisors or do whatever, and we're going to sell. Put me into cash. Put me into a savings account. Put me into bonds. Put me into something gold, something safe. Move me out and drive it down even more, at which point they will all come back in. If it goes down another 1,000 points, there will be a rally, and they will make their money overnight. This is what they do. You could use Apple stock as an example. Trading at 225 at the start of the day. They sell all their Apple at 225. It's down to 205. If I sell my Apple and everybody sells their Apple, it may go down to 190. Boom. They're going to buy back in. They're going to have sold at 225, buy back in at 190, and they're going to play their game. They're hoping that we react and panic. There is nothing the professional investors would love more on Wall Street than for the American public to freak out about their investments in 401ks and sell, sell, sell right now. They're sitting there with cash in hand, waiting for us to sell so they can buy back in exactly the same commodities they had before. It's what they do. They're good at it. They're pros, and they make all the money. And I'm not risky enough or smart enough to do that. But I've seen it done in sports gambling, and I know they're doing it with the markets, and I know they manipulate these things. It's what they do. It's not illegal. There's nothing illegal about it. If you know that the public is going to freak out, then obviously you've got an opportunity to do something pretty significant. Crazy. All right, then there's this one from Long Island. A high school in Long Island, the NAACP leader locally in Long Island is upset that they have changed the name of the high school mascot from Indians to Spartans. He says that Spartans were white supremacists, and if we're supporting that, it's white supremacy. It's racially problematic. First of all, when in Greece, the Spartans took to war, there were no females allowed in their military back in those days. Their army was all white, and they enslaved indigenous people when they conquered them. Those are facts. I'm not sure how they're relevant to a high school in Long Island, but those are facts. Those things happened. I don't know of any female military personnel in those days anywhere in the world, but we've evolved as humans. The funniest part is the state passed a law in New York that you can't have a Native American mascot. I went to Shawnee Mission North. We were the Indians. They changed it to bison. I sent a letter to the school, to the district, and the Kansas City Star. Nobody published my op-ed. Nobody gave me the time of day, and nobody from the district responded to me. Shawnee Mission North is now the bison. Do you know how we defeated Native Americans in this country? It was not our military. We destroyed the bison population, and it killed off Native Americans, and on average, they shrunk 2.5 inches in height and 40 pounds in weight. We decimated them with starvation by killing bison. You want to offend a Native American? Name your team the Bison. No different than this guy saying it's white supremacists to be the Spartans. The point is, anybody can find something in any name that's disruptive or you don't like. If I were Native American, I wouldn't be honoring the bison in the way you slaughtered them and wrecked our people would not be some sort of tribute because you took Indians away. And the person who petitioned Shawnee Mission North in the district to do that was from Oklahoma. Nobody locally cared. Nobody. They literally are adjacent to Shawnee Mission Parkway. Shawnee, as in the Shawnee Mission, Shawnee Indians, and the Shawnee Mission, which took Indians, Native Americans, and taught them to be white Christians. You can't have anything more racist than that. You're still Shawnee Mission. Change the Shawnee part. This stuff is so stupid. What is not stupid is seeing Dave Ramsey. You may make some money if you go see Dave Ramsey. He's coming to Kansas City with Dr. John Deloney for his Money and Marriage Tour on May 9th. You want to win a chance to go to the show or a meet and greet? Right now's your chance. 7th caller is our winner. Listen to Mundo in the Morning at 7:45 and Uncanceled at 10:45. And you could win, too, to see Dave Ramsey at the Music Hall. Caller number 7 right now, 913-408-7957. Uncanceled continues.
It's Kevin Kietzman Uncanceled on 95.7 FM, KCMO Talk Radio.
Oh, thanks to everybody that called in for the Dave Ramsey tickets. We've got our winner. Appreciate you listening and calling. We'll do it again tomorrow. Tomorrow, Pete is on his Back the Blue tour at Lenexa's new Justice Center, which I live very near there. It's impressive. And he will have tickets to give away at 7:45, and we'll do it again here at 10:45. So look forward to that. See Dave Ramsey coming up May 9th in Kansas City with Dr. John Deloney. Mark found one of the greatest Mark stories ever for his segment here today. At the end of the show, it is a tasty story, if there ever was one. But just because something's tasty doesn't mean it tastes good. Do you want to just take this and run with it, or do you want me to set it up? How do you want to do this?
I'd like to hear you set this one up.
Okay. All right. There's a baseball team in New Mexico. That's what we know. This is where it starts. They have suspended every player on the junior varsity team because somebody on the team did something wrong and nobody will tell on him, and he's not stepping forward. They've bonded together as a team and said, okay, our teammate did this, but we've got a code here, and we're not ratting him out. Now, Mark, what did this one person on the team do that the whole team is in solidarity of not ratting him out about?
Yeah, this team might have thought it was, lime Gatorade, but it was water. It was water. It was not lime Gatorade. It was water. And if you can understand that, best to you.
See, you're such a nice person. You're so nice to me, so much nicer than me. One of the kids on the team, and we did this in high school, and some places still do this. You're responsible for filling the Gatorade bucket or the igloo cooler or whatever for the visiting team, and you put it in their dugout. This is a JV game. This is lower level. This is not some big travel team, right? In New Mexico. One of the kids on the home team peed in the visiting team's bucket of water and placed it in the dugout. And they're not ratting him out. They're going to find out who did it.
I was going to say, that's why the whole team's suspended, because they're not ratting him out. If the one guy was caught, then he would be suspended. I think the rest of the team would still be playing. But
the solution's easy,
Yeah.
Everybody come in here. We got cotton swabs. We're swabbing your mouth. They could figure that DNA out real fast.
They could.
That's unbelievable. What's the, were you ever a prankster? Did you ever pull pranks on anybody? You got to pull pranks on your kids, right? I mean, that's the funnest pranks.
Yeah, the worst thing I did in high school, we would go TP our coach's house.
Okay.
So we wouldn't do that nowadays. The toilet paper's too expensive.
Yeah. Well, yeah, that's about where you draw the line, too. People used to egg houses and stuff like that. That's too far.
Yeah.
I don't know what that's all. That's gross. Don't know what that's all about. Can't do that. Charles Barkley missed the mark on one. Usually, he's pretty good on these things. He made a comment this week that apparently LeBron and Stephen A. Smith had a big feud about what, LeBron James's son?
Yeah, he called him out for being a bad dad, allegedly.
Bad dad, okay. And so LeBron fought back and was pretty bad. And so Barkley says the media in America are the big losers, that all media lost on this feud. My response to that is, KCMO Talk Radio we didn't know it happened. Like, the NBA is such a small niche now, such a small little bubble, and Barkley lives in that world. I get it. There are 350 million people in this country. I mean, if there's 20 or 30 million NBA fans, that's pretty good. I don't think their games get, like, even the finals don't get that highly rated. But, I mean, I don't think America knew. The people in the NBA world knew that Barkley knew, and the people in the NBA world knew that LeBron and Stephen A. Smith were brawling. But unless you watch the afternoon talk shows on ESPN, I'm not sure anybody else knew.
Yeah, maybe like 1% of people.
Yeah, 1%. So, no, the entire media in America didn't lose. And Barkley's usually spot on a lot of things. How about this? The Royals just lost 2 in a row to the Brewers. Couldn't hit. They had 18 regular innings where they only scored 1 run. But the Royals, as of right now, are 2-4, tied for first place.
I love that. I mean, tied for last place too, but tied for first place. Let's go.
Everybody in the division is 2-4. The Orioles are coming. They're off today. The Orioles are coming tomorrow night. If you want to take your dog, tomorrow night's Bark at the Park. I think it's a little chilly for us to go, but we're going to go to Bark at the Park this year for sure. They play the Orioles and then 4 with the Twins, who many people believe are the front runner to win the division. In Chicago, people commented on social media that they have COVID crowds returning. The White Sox announced a crowd of 10,134, but one fan swears he counted everybody and it was under 1,000. You got to be pretty bored to be at a baseball game counting fans.
Yeah, the White Sox were so bad last year. I'm not surprised by the low crowd, but they're better this year.
If it was the end of the season and they had to determine a division champion, everybody's 2-4. I think it would be the White Sox.
I think so. Yeah, I think run differential.
They're the only team with a positive run differential. Every other team has given up more runs than they've scored. Maikel Garcia is off to a terrific start for the Royals. And he's been batting ninth now instead of leadoff, which takes a little pressure off. He changed his stance a little bit. But did you see what he really credited it to?
Not a torpedo bat, right?
No.
Okay.
Watching the daily routine of Bobby Witt and Salvador Perez and how they take care of their bodies.
That's awesome.
Salvador Perez's body?
Oh, okay, that's a good point. Bobby, yes.
I mean, you want to prop up the studs on your team, just say I'm teammates with some really cool dudes. You don't want to follow Salvador Perez's body stuff. Don't do it. The Vince Show is coming up next level on KCMO.